We are going to talk today about why it is so important to make decisions so that you never regret your life. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It is Wisdom Wednesday, and we are going to share a great moment together. I don't want to shit on you right now, and I almost said you should never regret your life, but I don't want to steal your power. What I want to say is there are times in life where we feel like we've made decisions, and we have made decisions that really impacted the trajectory of our lives. And sometimes we look back on it and we say, I wonder what would have happened if I would have made a different decision. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. So let's go. So recently, a couple of POBA members actually found some old reel on YouTube of me singing. And they couldn't believe that I sing too, and that I've actually got a CD out, and and I have music online and all that good stuff. And so people are always discovering new things about me, because the way I live my life is to try the things that I want to do. Or let me cut that out, because I try is another word that I always encourage everyone to avoid, right? Because Yoda said, do or do not, there is no try. I do my best to live my dreams, to pursue the things that are of interest to me. But throughout our lives, there's been different times in life where I wasn't as adventurous because I had a lot of fear, or I was scared of things. The unknown was a lot scarier. And as we all know, as we get older, things become a lot easier because we're just accustomed to things happening. And when we're younger, things are a lot scarier because everything feels so new. So when I was younger, I actually had an opportunity to sing, and I was so scared that I did not raise my hand when I knew I was the right person for this song, and this was in choir. And I always looked back on my life, and I had wondered if my life would have been more musical had I actually raised my hand and not been fearful. And throughout life, the universe continued to bring musical people in my life. So it's not like I was not continually exposed to music. I just was never ready. But what I did do is I developed my writing even more. I had a book filled with lyrics and songs, um, and talked about music and talked about lyrics with musical people, and they understood that language. And so I was still connecting with people, because I think when there's something that is written into your life scroll, whether or not you took an opportunity, it continues to present itself to you in different ways, as it did me. So what happened that actually got me into where you can actually see me online singing, and that I'm on iTunes and Spotify? It's Sufani and Master G. It's an artistic project that I did with my husband. And there's a story that really goes along with that. Now, some of the story is just what I've told you right now, is that I missed an opportunity when I was young. And I felt like that missed opportunity in my thoughts followed me throughout my life. Now, I never called it a regret, but I think maybe that's what regrets feel like. There are these things that you realize when there was a different choice that you could have made, and maybe you always wondered whether or not that other choice would have been a good thing for you. Maybe that's what a regret is. It's not necessarily a negative thing where you're just always in your mind saying, gosh, I wish I would have done this. For some people, it could be that obvious, but for me, I never looked at it as a regret, but it was more of a feeling that I brought with me my whole life. So what changed that? When my mom passed away, my birth mother, and a lot of you who have followed my courses and have taken the trauma and recovery course, you know that it was not a good relationship. It was very struggled, and you know that story. If you don't, you can go over there and you could hear me tell that entire story. But one of the things that death kind of teaches us and taught me for sure is that life is short, and life is too short to waste on regrets. I saw that in my mother's death, that she felt sad and she said it out loud, "I feel sad." She never explained what she felt sad about, but I knew what it was. She felt sad that at the end of her life, the people that really mattered were all the ones that showed up by her bedside. They were not the people at the bar or all her friends. It was the people that she had treated the worst in her entire life that showed up at her bedside despite how she had behaved almost our whole adult life. um, I would say our child life and our adult life was filled with this person who didn't get involved at all, and when she did, it was all negative and disruptive to everyone else's life. And so one of the things that death does in general is it makes you look at your own mortality in your own life, and it makes you think about the choices that you've made for yourself and whether or not you've made the right choices for yourself, and also to think about regrets. Is there anything in my life that I regret? And for me, the only thing that popped up in my mind was that I always thought about what would have happened if I would have had the courage to get up and sing, because singing was something that I adored. I mean, I would spend hours just, if I had a song that I loved, I would just sit and I would play that song a million times over and over again until I memorized every lyric, every nuance. I knew everything about the story, where it was written. I cared about all those details, but I never did anything with it. And so when my mom died, I realized, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to reach, the end of my life and say, I wonder, I regret that I never sang, because singing is so important. If you've taken my shaman courses, you know that, one of the big questions is, when did you stop singing? When did you stop dancing, and when did you stop singing, right? Because that's when something went wrong in your life. So singing is really important in general to everybody, and it's been really important in my life. So right then and there, when all that was over, when she was, put to rest and all of that stuff, I just said, I am not going to have my life reflect that ever. I don't want my life to be anything like that. I don't want to regret one thing in life. So right now, with total honesty, what do I regret? And the only thing that came up to me was that one moment that really impacted me, and that I carried that emotional thought process with me my whole life about whether or not my life would have been musical, whether or not I would have been able to achieve the dream of being a singer. And I felt like I missed that opportunity. I'll never know. Well, as you get older too, you realize that not everything has to be about fame and fortune. Not everything has to be with the motive to end up in some, grandiose way. Sometimes the end result of something is really just the love that you have for it and the fact that you accomplished it within yourself, not about anything else other than what I was going to get out of it. The expression and the knowing that I proved it to myself that I could do it. And I think that's one of the big things that changes as you get older. When you're younger, you have all these other reasons why you do things, but then life sort of simplifies itself a little bit as you get older. And I think that's because, for some, you might get wiser and you realize, I just want to do this for me. And I called it my bucket list. The thing I want to scratch off my bucket list, which is that I did it. I sang. And so fast forward to all of this, I let my husband know, and my husband is a musician, so he was a person that could make this happen for me. And as soon as I made the choice, that he said, okay, we'll do a stand-up, what do you call that? What do you call it? we'll go and put our name in the hat at a cafe where we can get up and I can perform a song. And that's how it started out. I'd perform a song, we'd do a cover, and then, we would practice it. And when Willie thought I was ready, he would let me know. And he said he would not let me do it until he felt 100% that I could do it successfully. And I trusted him because he is my trusted advisor and will tell me when I'm not. And so what ended up happening was I became so inspired that I wrote a song, I wrote the lyrics, I heard the melody. And this was the first time that ever happened to me because I always just did the lyrics. I never heard the melody. So I wrote this song and then I sang out the melody to the lyrics, and then I sent that to my husband, and he put music to it. And then we rehearsed it and rehearsed it and rehearsed it. And then we ended up rehearsing some covers, and we rehearsed some other things. So I finally got to the point where he said, yes, you're ready. So the long story short is that I got up, we decided that I was ready, and I went to the cafe and I signed up to do their open mic. That's what it's called, open mic. And I wanted to be the very first because I learned a long time ago, just being nervous, getting up and standing in front of people, is that to go first is better because you just get it out of the way. And you can either set the tone so high that other people are like, oh my God, I gotta live up to that. Or if you set the tone kind of low, you're done. It's over. Well, I had belief in myself and my husband from all the rehearsal and practice that it was going to be fine. But I'll tell you this, that just because you make the decision now to follow through with this thing that's on your regret list, this, and that you've made a bucket list, and that you're attempting to do, and being as prepared as you might be to do it so that you can have a good outcome. I will tell you, I was so scared when I got up there. And the thing that really helped me, and maybe this will help you too, is that when you're achieving something that is on your regret list and you are unwilling to continue to let it sit there your entire life and you decide to do something about it, just know that when you get up and you stand up to do that thing, it's completely normal for you to feel scared or even terrified to do it. And the thing that I said inside my head as I'm standing in front of all these people who came, a lot of friends and family came to watch me perform this. They knew my story. And a lot of people were just there at the cafe to watch this open mic. And I looked out into the crowd and I was terrified. And I told myself, I have nothing to lose. And it was true. I had zero to lose, because most of the people there I didn't know and would never see again. This was a beautiful moment where I learned really to speak another language with my husband, which was the language of music. And if it didn't go completely well, it wasn't going to go horrible because I had practiced so much that maybe there would be a mistake or two, but it would overall be a good performance. And that I had family and friends there that even if that happened, they were going to support me and they were going to encourage my effort. And I did it. And it was successful. And from there, we went on to continue to play music and to continue to write songs together. And eventually it became a CD, an album that we did that is now on iTunes. It's the only one. iTunes and Spotify. You can listen to us on Pandora also. And YouTube has all of it there as well. But I just wanted to share this story that life is too short to have regrets. And if you have anything that is even close to a regret, maybe it's a thought process that you've carried with yourself your whole life over something that you could have done and you didn't, I want you to mark that off your list so that you can go on with a clear mind and never have to worry or think about anything. And absolutely never get to the day that you're going to cross over and say, I wish I would have done this or that. Okay, so that is the topic for this week's Wisdom Wednesday. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Please support and do all that you can to watch weekly I appreciate all of you so much and allowing me to do this every week for you as part of my Goodness and Light campaign. You can also donate, and I put all the links below if you really appreciate or were moved by anything that I say on any of my videos. And people have asked to put a link where they could support me. There is a donation link below to support the Goodness and Light campaign. I make wisdom and healing free to everybody in addition to all my courses. And this I do to add goodness and light to the world. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys back here next week. Bye-bye.
Subscribe now.